Hey guys, so we're going to wait here just for a little bit because obviously while we were doing our premiere, now I don't know if it was the legit real Chris Proudfoot or not in chat, but the man seemed like he had a lot to say. He had some things to say about Bullhorn Betty. You know, he obviously doesn't like my coverage of the case. Now again, that is if it's the real Chris Proudfoot. We know that people like to, impersonate people. It's nice to see you guys. But we were all there. We all saw, Chris. And in all fairness, I've been wanting to speak to him. I've been wanting to have a respectable conversation with him about this case. And if he's willing to open up and have, besides threatening me with a lawsuit, first of all, lawsuits don't scare me, dude. I don't know if you know me. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I'm pretty opinionated. I know my rights. I'm a front row Joe. I'm a constitutionalist. By all means, come out and get me. Come get me. The courts are going to be so thrilled here in Florida for somebody trying to stop somebody's freedom of speech on a well-known case. Furthermore, he stated, I'm making money off of his son. First of all, no, I'm making money off the content and coverage, just like every other news organization that is covering this case. I haven't touted anybody. I haven't touted any type of interviews up here. I haven't exploited anybody, right? I haven't even gone out there and searched yet. So when I do that, that's when we start getting the millions of views, Mr. Chris Proudfoot. When Chronicles of Olivia and I get in those woods and actually start searching and start our work, that's when your case is probably going to get a little more bumpy. Right now, you guys, this is the calm before the storm. I mean, it really is. We're going to be out there in the woods. We have good ways of tracking things. We have our own things. There's a reason why we're called web sleuths. There's a reason why cops are concerned with the work and our abilities. There are reasons for that. Okay? There are reasons why law enforcement monitors us. There's reasons for that. Okay? So if Chris Proudfoot is the one that was in the chat, we're going to keep it open. We'll just sit here. Like, I got work to do, right? I got work to do. I got nothing but time on my hands, baby. I got nothing but times on my hands, right? Chris, let's go through some of the questions I'd ask you, so you're not fearful of Bullhorn Betty. I wouldn't want you to think I bite. If you did nothing wrong, you should not fear me. Period. I don't go after innocent people if I have not proven that beyond a reasonable doubt here. I don't go after innocent people. So if you're innocent, you had nothing to do with this, by all means, I would be your friend. Actually, probably be the best friend you could have in your corner if you did nothing wrong. I can promise you that. Because I'm one of those people that don't really give a shit about what people say. When I'm in your corner, I'm in your corner. The only way I get out of that corner is if you ask me to leave, right? Once I'm in it. But if you get in the chat and you want to come up here and have a conversation, let's go over some of the questions I'd ask. So you're not fearful. We don't want a fearful Chris. Here's some of the things that I would want to know, just off the cuff. What were your immediate impressions when Katie called you? When Katie called you and told you that Sebastian, sorry, I don't have two screens here, so you got to bear with me here. I'm trying to look at my Word doc here. So, what was those initial feelings that you had whenever and I can't see the chat, guys, so if Chris does get here, it's one of my mods text me. But just to let you know, Chris, this is what I'm going to be asking you, okay? Not softball questions, but we ain't going to be talking about soda here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, I can tell you that. What was your first impressions? How was Katie's demeanor when you spoke to her? Nobody spoke to you. You've been speaking a lot for Katie, on Katie's behalf, but I'd like you to speak on your own behalf about your own experience in this process as well. What did Katie initially state happened? What was Katie's demeanor like when she spoke to you? When she got up and ran out of the house, did she take anything with her? Did she go to any other places? Did she check any other places while she was out there in the wilderness, out there in the wild, out there on the streets? Did she Did she speak to the neighbors? If so, did any neighbors tell her anything? Did any neighbors offer her any video footage? Did any neighbors offer to walk with her to help look for your son? Right? Were the neighbors and law enforcement friendly? Like, really, just getting a lay of the land. Nothing intrusive. Nothing derogatory. Nothing accusatory. Right? And if we want to get into some more of my questions that I have, timeline questions, I got a whole book. Okay? I got a whole book. I'm a busy woman. I'm working very hard to help bring answers to your missing stepson's case. And I could really use all hands on deck, but, I have to be honest with you, Chris. You're the only hands, and you and Katie's are the only hands that isn't part of this deck. Everybody else's hands are involved. Everybody's. I did send you a messenger, Chris. If you're watching Bullhorn Betty right now, I sent you a messenger. I put an audio voice in there. I am open to speaking to you off the record 100%. Won't even speak to anybody that I even spoke to you. And you can believe that and take that to the bank, because I do not talk about my sources. If you talk to anybody on here, when I talk about people, I talk about people. If I find out information, I find out information. Nobody ever knows where it comes from. So, and it'd be 100% off the record. So, and I actually would go a step further, Chris, from a legal professional. I will even sign a do not disclose, I'll be happy to sign a DNA for that conversation alone, so you have at least a legal document that will prevent me from disclosing anything that is not, that we don't agree to disclose. But I will keep you off the record. I just want some information. So, other timeline questions I would have for you, Chris, is how did you know about the aunt and the cousins? Were you at home at all that weekend? And if you're not at home all that weekend, I'm starting to believe you weren't home that weekend, right? I started out believing you were. And through information and through the work that I've been doing, I'm finding out that you weren't home. Right? So how would you know about the time that Katie would have left to go get the aunt and the cousins? Because she did look over to you to confirm that that's what she did. So I'm just curious how she did that. At the BJ's, were you on the phone with her? How often do you guys speak? And how often do you guys have these 3-hour conversations? Is it a 3-hour conversation you regularly have? You have occasionally? Was this just a spur of the moment? She was missing you so much she wanted to stay on the phone with you as long as she could? Were you guys like, hey, I love you. No, I love you. No, I love you more. No, honey, I love you more. I'm going to hang up now. No. I'm going to hang up now. No, was that the way it was? I mean, you guys got it like that after all these years, Chris? Just curious. What else was done at the house? Who else visited over the house that you're aware of? What was Sebastian's state of mind that you're aware of? How often do they go to the Texas Roadhouse? We heard that you were there 2 weeks ago. Is there any relevance or truth to that? All good questions, right? Does everybody think these are good questions? Not abusive questions, right? Not accusatory questions. Like, pretty simple questions that any normal parent of a missing child could answer, in my opinion. What was Sebastian's state of mind? I'm an easy person to deal with. Very respectful. Very respectful. But I have questions. And I know this case inside and out. That's another problem. I know this case literally inside and out. So you're going to have questions. You're going to have answers on top of answers. Because I like the question why. Right? Why? My favorite question in the whole world. Why? Many are leaving this case. Yeah, but I'm not many. I'm Bullhorn Betty. See, I don't have pissing contests with people, and I don't care if my feelings get hurt. So there is that. This kid needs justice. There's, people can put their tail between their legs and run off. I don't care. When we get into cases. We don't really let them go, Like even Layla Santinello. I mean, when we go back to Tennessee, we haven't really talked a whole lot about her case so much because this has kind of taken, the news waves. But when every time I go into Tennessee, I go and search in her case. We never here on this channel ever really let our cases go until they are resolved through the court system. They're always in the back of our mind. We're always monitoring them. We're always providing, even when these cases just go dormant for a while, we're always checking. Even Michael Monkey Vaughn, he's on my regular searches. Literally on my regular searches. Every morning I check to see if there's any new news on Michael Monkey Vaughn, right? Last news article was from March 2024. See it every morning I look in it. We never ever really get rid of cases on this channel until they're resolved. And we don't really, and then after they're resolved, if you've noticed, I don't really do, 1 year, 2 year and stuff like that because I think the people just need to be to rest. That's just my personal, if something comes up and we want to look back and say, wow, it's been, 3, 4 years, since this happened and, we have this other case, maybe we need to revisit this. There's that. But it looks like Chris had a lot to say to Bullhorn Betty. Right? He had a lot to say. I'm going to stay on here and talk because we've only been on here for 11 minutes in case he wants to brush his teeth or comb his hair, maybe put a suit and tie on for Bullhorn Betty. We know he likes to flirt with women in front of his wife, So he might just be trying to put, freshen up a little bit. But I'd love to hear a story, If I'm wrong, show me where I'm wrong. Because if they can answer my questions and explain them well enough that it makes me have doubt, then I'll get off their case because then I'll start looking down another road. But right now, the way my brain works is we have a child. This child was in their home, okay? Let me look right at the camera so everybody knows I got my real face on, right? So we have a boy that went to bed, allegedly. Went to bed at 9 o'clock, allegedly. There was a thud, allegedly. Nobody checked on this child, allegedly. Okay? Mom wakes up the morning at 6 a.m., allegedly. Why do I keep saying allegedly? Because nobody can confirm this stinking information. There were 2 people in the house, 1 person is gone, and 1 person is there giving us a story. That does not make this girl feel comfortable, warm, or fuzzy. Especially when we dive into that same person's background and find a litany of child abuse. Which, I'm sorry, but some of the most deranged and sadistic people that we know that walked and breathed on this earth come from a path and a past of major child abuse, similar to what Katie is going through. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. You can look it up. Start with Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy. So, I got problems and I got questions here. And the only thing I've been getting is somebody coming into my chat, throwing a couple statements up and never really answering the questions. And here's the real for you. You can't sue somebody for talking about a case. You can't sue somebody for their opinions on the case. You will be spinning your wheels and wasting your time, but if you really want to bark up that tree, I will give you a run for your money. But be prepared to turn over your computers and your text messages, because I will prove that everything I've said was likely true. Nothing but questions, Lee. Nothing but questions. What door do you guys typically go out of on a normal weekend? What is your normal weekend? Well, Chris, when you're home, what does your normal weekend look like with the family? Do you guys go fishing? Do you do yard work? Because your neighbors have enlightened Bullhorn Betty that when you come home, it's usually balls to the walls. That all you do is come home and work your ass off around the house. That's what I heard. Doesn't seem like a very happy, jovial life for you to be working your ass off on the cranes all week and to come home, and when you do come home, you gotta mow the yard, clean the house, do all this, clean that. You don't even get a minute edgewise for yourself, do you, Chris? I bet your break is the weekends you stay in your camper. That truly is your downtime, isn't it? Got questions, Chris. They're not accusatory. They're just I'm just trying to come to Jesus. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to come to Jesus. Bring me to Jesus, Chris. Bring me to Jesus. Tell me what happened. Because everything I've been hearing hasn't been answering any of my questions. And I've been watching. See, Chris, I've been watching all your interviews. I've been listening to your voice really, really, really close. I've been trying to find all of my answers, so I don't have to bother you, right? I'm hoping that you just start answering my questions so I can start filling in my question lists, right? But the questions that I had a month ago, I still have today. That's a problem for me. We shouldn't be having these issues a month later, 2 months later. These questions in this black book, Chris, I know you're watching because you were in my chat. This right here, I prepared 2 months ago. I was reading off questions I prepared 2 months ago and still haven't answered them yet. I keep them in here because whenever I'm listening, if I know one of my answers is being answered, I write it in here. So I have all my answers in one little place, right? So I can say, this is answered, this is answered. Why aren't they answering this question? Why are you guys so reluctant and resistant to answer whether you guys felt that Sebastian was overstimulated that weekend? What is a normal weekend? What activities has? Because obviously he's had an episode where he was overstimulated when you guys had him in your care. So what overstimulated him? What overstimulated him in those instances? So again, I'm just trying to find some background information. I'm just trying to find out. But you know what? If you want to be off the record, Chris, just go to your messenger. You can talk to me in Messenger. If you don't even want to talk to me in Messenger, call me. Okay? Here in the state of Florida, it's illegal for me to record your call. So you don't have to worry about that. All right? Now, when I get to Tennessee and you have a conversation with me, well, it's all over but the crime. And actually, I don't know. Because the two states, to be honest with you, I don't really know the laws between the two states. Might be perfectly legal for me to record you here in the state of Florida since you're in Tennessee anyways. But I'm just going to give you my word that I'm not going to. Okay? I have no reason. Now, if you text me and write me text messages and shit like that in the messenger, I don't clear them out. Okay? I'll be honest with you on that as well. I don't clear them out. So if you don't want anything in my possession, custody, and control, you are going to want to speak to me personally as opposed to text messages. Just saying. Just saying. But I have no reason to catch you in something. I have no reason to catch you off guard. I don't need the aha moment. I'm not looking for the aha moment. I'm looking for the truth, and I'm looking for the right people to place my anger and animosity toward. And right now, the people that are looking good for this is Chris and Katie Proudfoot. And I don't even have to say, in my opinion. Chris, I surely do not. I bet you if you call your attorney, they'll tell you that. I can tell you, your mouth, your attorney, and your money do not scare Bullhorn Betty whatsoever. You can ask anybody. Go ask your BFF. She got an attorney. Go ask him how scared and shaking in the boots I am because he's knocking on my door. It ain't happening. Ain't happening. All right, guys. Well, I guess Chris doesn't want to come up. I guess he's got his feelings hurt. Actually, he doesn't want to answer real questions. He wants to talk about soda pops and cake pops and, how they're the best parents in the whole world and all this other stuff. But every time they have an opportunity to prove that they're not cowards, that they are willing to, put stuff on the line in a respectful place. Go back to my interviews, Chris, if you're concerned. I don't do shit like that. Just don't do it. And you don't have to worry about me cussing you out or calling you derogatory names. No, like let me back that up. You pull that crap like you did on Web Sleuths. Mm-mm. Oh, no. Let me break this down for you real quick. You pull that shit on Web Sleuths, I'm not going to coddle you at all. I'll tell you to get bit very respectfully. We'll bless my little heart. Believe that. In the most Christian way possible, which isn't very Christian because I'm half holy, half hood. Just saying. But you keep it real, I'll keep it real. Keep it real, I'll keep it real. All right, guys. Well, Chris had a lot to say in the chat. That's if it was him, but we went and checked it out. And that account was from 2020. But, we never know. We do have trolls here that like to impersonate people. So was it Chris? Was it not Chris? I guess we'll never know. We definitely gave them an opportunity to come up here, answer some questions, and explain to Bullhorn Betty what she got wrong. Where am I wrong? Right? We give people opportunities. This is my theory. This is what I believe happened based upon the information I have. And if I got it wrong, what's wrong? Tell me, right? I won't know until somebody tells me because I'm in Florida, right? I'm just doing all this little keyboard warrior, armchair detective stuff right here in Florida. I don't know what I'm doing. Never done this before a day in my life. I know nothing. But you know what? You can school me. I'm happy to take some information. I'm happy to process it. I'm happy to apply it to my theory. Happy to do that. Because, I know I'm not the smartest person in the world. I know I'm not. I don't try to be. I just try to be me. All right, guys, we gave him an opportunity. He decided to put his tail between his legs and run off. So hopefully maybe, he'll process this. He'll realize I'm not trying to bite him in the butt, right? Really not. Just trying to get some information because you can talk to Don Wells, and one thing he will tell you about me is I truly am trying to find his daughter. And he can tell you that I am a bullhead, but my heart's in the right spot. And if you truly are trying to find your child, you're going to want me on your side because I am a fighter, right? And I'll do what it takes. I'll be out there long after your story's done gone. Long after it stops hitting those main titles and, all the clicks and views, you'll see Bullhorn Betty will still be right up your ass. Not going nowhere. I'm like herpes. You can't see them all the time, but every now and again, they come back up and bite you where it hurts. I guess it's better than chlamydia. We're going to get banned off YouTube. I could be gonorrhea. We could just rod you straight up, right up the old kisser there, Chris. Just saying. It could be a lot more painful. I'm just a mild colonoscopy. No big deal. I promise you, no big deal. You got this, babe. You got this. And besides that, I think you can handle me. I think you can handle me. I'm just saying. That, all the STDs aside, I think, trust me, I'm not that painful. This is an educational video on, sexually transmitted diseases. It's called Don't Piss Bullhorn Betty Off, because you never know what she's going to become. Could it be this? Could it be that? I don't know. Depends on whether I want to ride you or not. Okay, guys, I'm getting off the rails. You guys have an amazing day. We gave Chris an opportunity to come up here, give us a few minutes of his time. If he really wanted to get some stuff off his chest, I truly believe he would. There's nothing that's going to stop that man. It doesn't look like he's scared of some Bullhorn Betty, okay, or saying something. So it was either he was either not him, or it was he just felt like coming in here and saying, you know what, with the whole lawsuit thing, I kind of felt that was a little trolly, I really think that was an old account, probably a partner, an ex-partner of mine. I don't know, maybe sitting in a hospital bed and having nothing better to do. I don't know. But, you never know. Chris, Chris Proudfoot may have been in the chat. He may not. The account was from 2020. Could it have been a troll account? Could it have been somebody else? We don't know. But we did give him an opportunity to come up here and clear his name. And, answer some questions. Some really benign questions, by the way. Like, really benign questions. So, I'd just like to know what happened that morning. And I'd like to know if they dusted for prints. Especially on that front door. Because I'm curious about that. Because I really don't think they did. And we know Katie's a freaking clean freak. So, the prints would have been on there. Right? They'd probably been the only fingerprints on that doorknob. I doubt people go in and out of that door very often. It doesn't look like it. Just my personal opinion. I bet you I'm right about that, aren't I, Chris? Old pal. Buddy old pal. Alright, guys. We'll see you soon. God bless and take care. Oh, let me go over here. Sorry, I didn't even see this. 92 days. KP, where's Sebastian? Thank you, Pebbles, for keeping Sebastian's name alive. And Jen says, come on up. Come on down, Chris Proudfoot. Come on down. We haven't even seen him in the chat, have we? He just ran away. All right. Well, there you go. We gave him an opportunity. He decided to run off. So there you have it. Can't handle the Bullhorn Betty. All right, guys. I love you and God bless. Now we'll see you later.